Hey guys, I just noticed a typo in my code. It shouldn't be called firing tower. Should it? Well, if I look here, I need a firing tower. Let's go ahead and call it firing range. I don't know what I was thinking just a minute ago. But let's go ahead and change that to firing range. And that was deleted. Awesome. Now if we click play, we still have a problem where it's not quite right. Right? So what can we do? Well, we can try dividing by 2. So I'm going to go ahead and divide this by 2, this firing range. And let's see what happens. Hey, still not quite right. Maybe if I try dividing the x position by 2 as well. Awesome. So now we got it working. So what was going on? What was the problem? Well, I think in this part right here, I was referring to it as firing range, but in this one I was referring to it as firing tower. So I never actually modified the value of firing tower. So it was always 180, whatever it is set to right here. 180. So even though I moved my marker and everything, it didn't work. And that's because I'm modifying the value firing range whenever I move my marker. So now we got it to go through essentially both of them. Right? Awesome. Now, how can we still have a problem though. This looks pretty good actually. But if we go here, you know, it makes like a circle, but we still want the ellipse. If we go here, it's doing like this shape, which isn't an ellipse that we want, right? So not quite working. Now, how do we make it elliptical? Well, the thing is, we need to talk about major and minor axes. So if we look here at geometry, right? Oh boy. Oh boy. I don't teach pre-cal, I don't teach geometry, but these are concepts that come from those subjects, and this is why math is important. So basically, the major axes, we have a major radius and a minor radius, alright? And yeah, I'm not sure how to quite teach that, but essentially if you look at an ellipse, you have, let's look up an ellipse actually. Ellipse diagram. Alright. So a lot of times we have, so here's a vertical one, and here's a horizontal one. I think this might be good. How to graph an ellipse. Alright, you can go ahead and read this. Basically, the major axis is the line that runs through the center of the ellipse the long way. The variable a is the letter used to name the distance from the center to the ellipse on the major axis. The minor axis is perpendicular to the major axis and runs through the center the short way. The variable b is the letter used to name the distance to the ellipse from the center on the minor axis. Because the major axis is always longer than the minor one, a is greater than b, and so forth. Essentially, if we look at these drawings, we have two types, or multiple types actually. We have this, and we have this. And we see that on this diagram, the major axis is the x line, right? Because it is bigger than the y direction, the minor axis, the minor radius. In this one, the major radius from here to here is bigger than the minor radius, which is from here to here. So this way is the major axis, and this way is the minor axis. Now, what does that all to mean? Well, essentially, we should not have our radii, I don't know how to say plural, we should not have it the same value. Currently, we have it the same value. It's the firing range divided by 2. So we shouldn't have it the same value though. So I'm going to give this divided by 4. So if we divide it by 4, it will be a smaller number, and thus it will be a smaller radius in the y direction. Let's go ahead and look. So if we drag this out, we notice the x radius is a lot bigger than the y radius. Okay, so that's exactly what we did. And if we look at the parametric equation, I think it's on this one, parametric equation right here, what we're doing is we're modifying that a and b value. If we look at this one right here, we're modifying the major axis and the minor axis or radius value. We're making the minor radius smaller than our major radius. And you don't have to divide it by 2 and 4 as long as one is bigger than the other. I just think 2 and 4 look nice. Okay. Awesome. So we managed to get our radius to change. Or we managed to differentiate our major and minor radius. So that looks awesome. But now, what if I rotate up here? Alright, so that looks weird, right? It's treating our major radius as the x value still, and our minor radius as a y value. So at a certain point, we want our major radius to be the y value and our minor radius to be the x value. Now, what is that point? Well, essentially, it's whenever the distance between the y from here to here is greater than the distance between the x difference. So here, the x difference, here to here, is a lot greater than the y difference, about here to here. Up here, the y difference here to here is a lot greater than the x difference, which is about here to here. Not much. So we need an if statement, a conditional. And how do we do that? Well, I'm going to go ahead and just use what I have here. I'm going to copy, and I'm going to paste. Actually, I need to make sure it's the right one. If x difference, okay. So we have two conditions. If the x difference is greater than the y difference, we want the major axis to be the x and the minor axis to be the y. If the other one's true, if the y difference is greater or equal to the x difference, we want the y to be the major and the x to be the minor. So I'm just going to go ahead and copy that comment, just so I don't have to type it again. Paste. Instead of making this a comment, let's go ahead and make it a group. Boomerang motion. Drag these underneath. Alright. And here's how I determine the difference. Now you can use absolute value as well, but I just went ahead and took the power. If the difference squared is greater than the y difference squared, then I know the x difference is greater than the y difference. Now why did I square it? Because sometimes I might get a negative number, and square always returns the positive. So you can either use this or the absolute value to kind of tell the difference. Now I'm going to go ahead and copy. I'm going to paste. And I'm going to change this. Instead of greater than, I want to make it less than or equal to. Now, why less than or equal to and not just less than? Well, what if for some reason they just happen to be exactly equal? My game might crash. So I just wanted to take into account all possible scenarios. And I'm going to copy this one as well. So if y difference is greater equal to, alright, let's just do it the same way. X difference is less than or equal to y difference. Y is major, X is minor. And this code looks fine. But for this one, I'm going to go ahead and keep this divided by 2 and this one divided by 4. So I switch it up. So if we try it, awesome. Hey, awesome, it works. Now, there's a problem though, right here. How do we do that? Well, that's going to come in another video. Alright, see you next video.